What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Pull-Up Show. I'm your host, Mr. BJ Matthews, a.k.a. B Jizzle.
It's your co-host, Rick Masters. Hope y'all doing safe out there.
A few recap points. We had our Kobe Bryant Day video just released 2 days ago. If you guys have not seen that, go and check it out. Our fondest memories and celebrating the life of Kobe Bryant. Also, we had a great month in January with a lot of Laker players coming through the Pull-Up Show, giving us emphasis on what Kobe Bryant was as a person, as a player. We are a month in the NBA season, and a lot of spectacular things have happened. One of the spectacular things that's been going on is with the Los Angeles Clippers, who are currently 15-5, second in the Western Conference, led mostly not by Kawhi Leonard, but Paul George. Paul George had a meltdown last time in the playoffs in the bubble, so he has this year to avenge himself. The question is going to be, Rick, do you feel Paul George can win you a championship as your second option? Let me see what you have to say about that.
B Jizzle, he certainly can. Yes, sir. If he plays like this seasonal Paul George, as I call him, if we can take this seasonal PG to the postseason, there is no doubt in my mind that Paul George can help Kawhi Leonard and the Los Angeles Clippers win a championship. But he did let us down. Also, Kawhi Leonard let us down as well last year in the 2020 playoffs. But I want to defend Paul George real quick, people. Basketball Reference, NBA.com. If y'all want to check these stats out, Paul George field goal percentage right now is 50.6. Points, he's averaging 24. Total rebounds, he's averaging 6.4. Assists, he's averaging 5.4. And his PER, also known as player efficiency rating, is at +8 at 23. The average is 15. This man is balling out of control. Honestly, guys, if Paul George was playing like this last year in the 2020 playoffs in the postseason, there's no doubt in my mind we would have saw the Lakers and the Clippers in the finals, in the Western Conference Finals. But, for whatever reason, you guys already know the story. He told you reasons. But hopefully this year we can get that seasonal Paul George. We can get that to carry over into the postseason. But there's definitely no doubt in my mind that he can win it. Also, I want to throw in there that I like how Kawhi Leonard is also staying pretty consistent within his play.
Right.
I believe the last game they played against Utah Jazz, and I think he had like 16 boards and like 20 points. And even though he didn't score super high, that's 16 boards and 20. If we could get that type of Kawhi during the postseason and also get the PG that we're seeing, I mean, man, I damn near forgot about their new pieces that they acquired.
Serge Ibaka,
Serge Ibaka and all those guys. So if these guys, man, I'm telling you, if these guys could pull it together like the five fingers and create a fist, hey, they knocking some folks out in that postseason, man. But what you think, BJ?
I mean, the Clippers, man, I never really got off the bandwagon. Really not even a bandwagon. It's just the fact that they just melted down in the bubble last season. So with the circumstances being the way they are, I'm not surprised they're number second in the West. Hell, they were number one in the West for a certain period of time. This team is deep. You're led by Kawhi Leonard, one of the top 3 players in the league. You have a top 15 player in Paul George, which goes to show that also you have Serge Ibaka, who is a breath of fresh air for the Los Angeles Clippers. People are not paying attention that the talk has been the Lakers and the Nets going to the finals. I feel the Clippers are very comfortable in this position because if you look at the success they had, look how they got PG and Kawhi Leonard. They did that through the back door. So they're in a very, very comfortable situation to be keeping things in the dark. They don't like the limelight. Kawhi Leonard doesn't like the limelight. Paul George does better without the limelight on him. Jerry West works behind the scenes. This organization right now is in a good place at this point. I feel like they're playing some really good basketball. Now goes to so with Paul George, can he win as your second option? I completely agree with you on that, bro. This is the same guy that was an MVP candidate just 2 seasons ago in OKC. He had a number 1 role in Indiana with the Pacers, which 2 of those playoffs, they went head-to-head with LeBron in Miami in his prime. And he actually showed out scoring between 20 and 25 points a game in those series. So if you can play number 1 option in basketball on the team, you can sure be number 2. As a matter of fact, he'll probably be able to flourish behind Kawhi Leonard because of the simple fact that the pressure's not all on him. And also, I feel people have to remember that Montrezl Harrell, as good as he was, it's a great thing that he's no longer there because him and Paul George both clashed. They both clashed between each other, and I feel like when you have that friction on any team, it's not going to flow as well as the chemistry. I feel like this team is better with chemistry. Serge Ibaka, Kawhi Leonard, I feel like they're very good friends, and I just think this is a better team than last year. I don't see how people can say that, they got worse. And I think Paul George, can he win as the second option on the team? Absolutely, and he's proven that this year.
Okay. Now, what was it Montrez? That's how you say his name, Montrez?
Yep, Montrezl Harrell. Yep.
With Montrezl Harrell, see, I heard a lot of speculation and talk about how he was clashing. Now, I never really, I guess, saw how, or, of course, the analysts on ESPN and different platforms talked about it. Right. But I was trying to figure out, was it more so because he was more of like a pusher? You know what I mean? Like he wanted the best out of his team, or was it more of just his personality? Did you know anything about that? Like,
yeah. So from what I got, it was just the fact that him and Kawhi were getting a special treatment, and Montrezl Harrell didn't like the fact that they wouldn't practice. He said Kawhi Leonard is one person, but Paul George, you're not on that level. But in reality, Paul George is better than Montrezl Harrell. And if you're gonna have a 2-package deal, pretty much the Clippers were all in on Kawhi and PG, so Montrezl had to go.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
All right, sir.
BJ. So, what about this Joel Embiid, man? You thinking he's the MVP of the league so far, or do you think it's somebody else? What you think about that? Because there's a big talk around the league that Joel is killing the game. So how you feel about that?
I mean, we had a laugh about this a few days ago. You have a follower that's a Philadelphia 76er fan. Shout him out. Who is it?
Oh yeah. P. Weezy, Justin P. White.
P. Weezy, right?
Weezy.
Yeah. So I'm like, I joked with you. I said the 76ers ain't going nowhere. They've been under expectations the last 2 to 3 seasons until Ben Simmons gets a jump shot, until Joel Embiid stays healthy for a full year. I'm not in with the Sixers, but at this point they're 14-6 in the Eastern Conference. They're number 1 in the East right now at this point, and Joel Embiid's averaging 28.3 points, 11.1 rebounds, and 2.8 assists a game. My whole thing with Joel Embiid has never been his talent. Talent-wise, he can shoot, he can post up, he's 7 foot, big hands, play defense, does it all. It's his durability and ability to play. So that's always been a question mark with him. And when you have a guy like Joel Embiid on the court is at his best, he's a top he could be a top 5 player.
Okay.
He's proven that this year. The only 2 candidates we've been talking about really has been LeBron and KD. But now Joel Embiid has snuck his way into the MVP conversation with leading this team in points, rebounds, having the best record in the East, being healthy, being motivated. And I think a lot of credit I have to give to Doc Rivers for allowing Joel Embiid to get into the post and start posting players up instead of just shooting all those threes, which really is, let's be honest, that's a testament to Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors. But for him to be that big, he can't be out there shooting threes, man. He got to be up in the post and start banging. But what you think about the Sixers right now? Where's your heart at with the Sixers?
Man, I mean, they're 14-6, so they're in the top 5 teams right now with the best records. With Utah, with Utah leading it at 15-4, Clippers 15-5, Lakers 14-6, Philly 14-6, and Nets 13-8. Right. So they're in the top 5, sitting at that 4th spot. So I mean, we can't just kind of run over it, But I will say, I do agree with you in the sense that we really can't tell what's going to happen when Embiid just because of his injuries. I mean, that lower back, he fell on it the other night when he got into it with LeBron. Like he was in pain. I saw him stretching out on the side during the game. But, you got to worry about stuff like that with Embiid because he's a big guy. As they say, the bigger they are, the harder they fall.
Yep. So, and he fell hard the other night.
He fell really hard. I'm talking I'm talking about on hard. It almost scared me. I was like, man, I hope that brother back is okay. Like I start having back spasms, but that's neither here nor there. but you know, man, if this man can stay healthy, if Joel can stay healthy, I really feel that Philly can go some ways. I mean, there's a lot of factors because, like, you know, we looked at the injury part.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, you as big as you are, you can't really stay on that 3-point line because I think about this. When you play against teams like the Nets, all right, KD is 7 feet tall, essentially.
Right.
If your pigtail is after on the 3-point line and there's nowhere down there to protect the paint, oh, man, that's KD and Kyrie and Harden is eating all day because all they're going to do then is play in duck, duck, goose. They're just going to pass that ball around, and whoever can get to the hoop quicker, it's just going to be a free-for-all.
By the way, I don't mean to interrupt you, but by the way, the Brooklyn Nets are 8-2 right now since the acquire of James Harden. So I want to point that out, that the Brooklyn Nets are rolling. So shout out to the Brooklyn Nets.
Shout outs to the Brooklyn Nets. But yeah, man, I mean, if he's out there on the 3, like you said, and then your back is already bad, so you can't sprint off super fast to get back to the paint, especially against no KD and no fast, Harden and Kyrie.
No, you can't.
You got to stay down there in the paint. So that's one thing I think about. And now I will say this. I got to give Miss props. I mean, just even looking at his stats, Joel Embiid right now, field goal percentage is actually the highest out of the top 5 people that I have in the MVP running right now. He's 54.4% on field goal percentage. And then this man is averaging 28.3 points, 11.1 rebounds, total rebounds, 2.8 assists. And guess what? He also has the biggest PER right now out of my top 5 MVP race, 31.4 in the player efficiency rating. He is at plus 16.4. Remember, people, the average is 15. He's at 31.4. So, I mean, to say, can he be the MVP as of right now? Sure. If we're going to go by the numbers, if we're going to go by the stats, then yes, he should be the MVP. But the only problem is, you and I both know, B Jizzle, that LeBron James and KD and James Harden and Kyrie and all these other players, I mean, even Jamal Murray and the rest of them Denver boys, man, all these players, they turn it up in the postseason. The postseason is like it's like another Dragon Ball Z reference, people. It's like they go Super Saiyan. I don't know what it is, but LeBron, for some weird reason, he's immaculate now, but he just turns crazy in that postseason. Right. And so I think me and you watching basketball for so long and being basketball players, I think that's what we're really zoning in on. It's like, yeah, you're doing good now, but
once it comes,
status when it comes to the postseason with the rest of them boys. Right. But I mean, that's pretty much all I have on that, man. BJ, you got anything else on that one?
Nah. So the only thing I'll say about this, man, if Joel Embiid keeps this up, he will be my MVP. And if the Sixers are able to get the top seed in the East and even in the NBA, you gotta give it to Embiid. I mean, that's sick. 54% from the field, so he's making more than half of his shots. That's ridiculous. But transitioning to the last topic, we got Mr. Bradley Beal. Woo! Bradley Beal is leading the entire NBA in scoring with, I think, 35.4 points per game.
Yes, sir.
Right. So those are historic numbers from field goal percentage and scoring. Now, as far as his individual statistics, they are, skyrocketing, but his team is currently 3-11 right now in the NBA, which is terrible. Bradley Beal deserves better. Rick, give me some of your choices of where you think Bradley Beal should go, and do you feel like he will get traded this season?
So I got like 2 answers on the question of, do I feel like he'll get traded? Yes, if he kind of like James Harden, he shows that he really doesn't want to be there. But no, if he's willing to stay, if he's willing to stay and work with the organization, and I personally feel that if they're willing to bring pieces around him like they did for players like LeBron or other players throughout the league,
right?
If they do that, then I think he might think about staying. But if he voices his opinion and says, you know what, I'm done with this, I feel like I could do better somewhere else, then they kind of got to let him go, because I mean, that's like a diamond in dirt right now. I mean, this man is just balling out of control, but he's just in a bad situation. But shout out to Bradley Beal. Now, going to that second part of the question, the three teams that I could see him actually helping is the Milwaukee Bucks, the Boston Celtics, and the Denver Nuggets. And I'm going to tell you why on each three.
Okay.
Now, the Milwaukee Bucks right now are 11-7. They're doing pretty good. And the reason why I say he'll be good with the Milwaukee Bucks is because it gives Giannis and Middleton and the team as a whole, and even Lopez, their center, more options. Because, see, me and you both understand when that postseason rolls around, everybody likes to build the wall, quote unquote, the wall against you. So now when you bring in a player like Bradley Beal, every team understands that Giannis is going to do one or two things. He's either going to come in really hard and try to dunk it on you, or he's going to come in really hard and throw it out to Middleton or one of the guards. So now when you have a player like Bradley Beal, he gives Middleton and Giannis more options, because now even if Giannis throws the ball out to Middleton, Middleton can now make a decision on either shooting the ball or throwing it to Beal, which Beal is very good at creating his own shots. Or if Beal goes off on the key, now that leaves Giannis open with options. So I feel like overall it gives the Bucks options. Going to the next team, Boston Celtics. I feel that if he goes to the Boston Celtics, they automatically become an offensive powerhouse similar to the Nets. And the reason why I say that is because the Nets, they got an offensive powerhouse in the three superstars right now. So then if you add in Bradley Beal to a team like the Boston Celtics, who are, by the way, 10-7, then I feel like they're similar to the Nets as far as offensive power. Of course, they just have to play defense, but that offensive power would be a big bang to any team that plays against them. The third team, they're 11-8 right now, the Denver Nuggets. I feel like if Bradley Beal goes to the Denver Nuggets, it'll make the Denver Nuggets more versatile, yet they'll be a traditional basketball team fundamentally. And I'll break down what I mean by that. They'll be traditional because, remember, you have Jokic, you have Porter, you have Murray, and you have Millsap. So that's two guards, two forwards, and a center. That's traditional basketball. Okay, so you could do a lot of plays and a lot of sets with that. And then I say versatile because Jokic can do so much with the ball, whether he's passing or shooting. Millsap is actually a combo forward. And then, of course, we know Murray is a beast. And we also know that Bill would just be a beast on his own. But that's what I got on that. That's where I see him going. What you think, BJ?
Let's be honest, bro. Washington's a mess. They're a disgrace to basketball. It's a mess over there, and I wouldn't want to be in Washington if I was Bill either. The point that you made up that was very important is that Bradley Beal is a good dude. He's not going to cause any stroke. He actually said he's going to try to figure it out in Washington. Hasn't requested a trade yet. He should be itching to get out of Washington. He deserves better, but I feel like he will get traded at some point because he's just too good of a talent, and you can't let him waste his career in Washington. Now, the three teams, two of the teams I agree with, starting with Milwaukee. The reason I say Milwaukee is because I feel like he'll work well with Giannis. Giannis is a rim runner, so you're going to get a guy like Bill to take a lot of that pressure off of Giannis on the offensive end, able to shoot shots, three-pointers, mid-range, just get to the cup, whatever may have you. And I feel like it'll be a lot easier for Giannis and Bill to play together because Giannis don't really particularly have to score. He doesn't have like a high skill set, so he can just rim, run, and pass it to Bill and things of that nature. And I also feel like they're going to have to get rid of Chris Middleton, which is fine.
So?
Because they're going to have to get rid of Chris Middleton because you got to give somebody up for Bill. Who you going to give up for Bill? It's not going to be Giannis. I still think you got Drew Holiday right there with them. So I feel like, okay, Chris Middleton, Bill will be taking Chris Middleton's spot, which is fine. Right? So I would take that in a heartbeat. So that's a good trade for Milwaukee. The Boston Celtics, they're a young team. They have firepower. They have assets to trade for Bill. They got Jaylen Brown. They got Kemba Walker. They got Jason Tatum, who they're not going to trade. They got Marcus Smart. So they have enough assets to make it an even fair trade for Washington. Because like I was telling you, they're not going to trade Bill away unless they're going to get something back for him.
True.
Right. So they're going to need to make sure they have the even trade both ways. So I think Boston's another good team. The final team, not the Denver Nuggets. It's that damn team in South Florida, the Miami Heat.
Okay.
The Miami Heat is very similar to Boston. They have enough assets to trade for Bill. They got Tyler Hero, they got Duncan Robinson, and then you still got Bam Adebayo, and you still got Jimmy Butler right there in Miami to be able to back Bradley Beal up. And that Miami Heat organization, I feel like Bradley Beal will flourish. He's a hard worker. He's a high character dude. He's not going to cause any problems. He's going to go in there and do his job. I don't see him making any type of, he's ready to win right now. Miami's already, they're an A+ franchise. They want guys who are going to buy in, work hard, and play team basketball. Bradley Beal, as talented as he is, he's a team player. He just wants to win.
Okay.
I'd like to say Milwaukee, Boston, Miami. Those are my three choices. And also, people, I don't see him going to the Clippers or the Lakers.
Okay. Why is that?
Because, okay, first of all, the Clippers, they need a point guard. So I would rather trade away Lou Williams and Pat Bev or somebody for get like a Gorgon Dragic or a point guard. If I get Bill, I already got Kawhi and Paul George. Why would I want to get another wing player, like a wing defender and a wing shooter? I already got two guys, probably the two best two-way players in the game at the wing position.
True.
Why would I need Bill? As great as he is, I don't need him. The Lakers, if I trade for Bill, I'm getting rid of all the assets that I tried to get previous before the season started. So you're giving up on all your assets that you already gave up. You're giving up on Dennis Schroeder. You're giving up on Montrezl Harrell. You're giving up on Marc Gasol. You're giving up on all your assets. You're going to have to give up something for Bradley Beal, and you're probably going to have to get rid of Kyle Kuzma. So I just don't – the Lakers, that's just too desperate in my eyes for you to have to give up all your assets for one guy. It's pretty much essentially saying that you made a mistake.
Got you. Okay. That's a good – okay. That's a good point.
What you got to say about that?
I agree. Like once you broke it down, that's why I was like, let me hear it. Once you broke it down, I totally agree. Because at first I was kind of thinking like, well, I mean, I can see him working pretty well with the Lakers, but then when you broke all that down, I was like, all right, yeah, that's a bad idea.
Yeah, it's a horrible idea.
You got that one.
It is what it is, dog. And like I said, the NBA season, we're rolling. It's going to be a lot of more impact stories this whole season, and we're excited to continue to report it to the public and the audience. We enjoy reporting the basketball news to you guys, myself and Rick Masters, you know what I'm saying? The two youngest, flyest dudes on YouTube and Spotify. I keep telling y'all, we're going to make sure we make this pop. We're looking to be the biggest podcast on social media, and we say that wholeheartedly. Rick, add on to it, bro. Help me out, bro. Help me out.
Yo, man, really what's going to really help us, though, is you guys subscribing, all right? Tuning in, subscribing. Look, man, hit us up on Instagram, the Pull Up Podcast on Instagram. Also, YouTube, the same thing. Just search it. The Pull Up Podcast, YouTube. All right, like, subscribe, share. Tell it to your friends and family. Hey, man, I don't know if y'all understand this, but BJ B Jizzle Matthews over here is putting in the work on his end. He's trying to get some NBA stars to come through. And at some point, we're trying to get you guys to interact with these NBA stars. So you guys got to start tuning in, man. Just click that like bell, share, subscribe. You know what I'm saying? Like it. Just come on, guys. We need you. And we like this. We love this. We want to share it every day. But I pass the assist back to you, B Jizzle.
Yes, sir. So all jokes aside, all jokes aside, we are going to be we're already showing the manifestation. We've already had NBA players. We have Metta World Peace. We've had Anthony Brown. We've had Josh Powell. We're going to have Steve Francis coming up on Monday. We're going to have Baron Davis. We're going to have Lamar Odom. The list is going to continue to go on and on. So we're not just doing it for us. We're doing it for you guys to be able to find some type of platform to interact with real important NBA players. You guys do not know from now on, we're not going to just have Zoom meetings. We're going to have Instagram lives on myself and my boy Rick's lives so you guys can interact with these NBA players. because we want to make sure that y'all can, be able to ask questions and go and tell some of your people, yo, this podcast is cool that they let us interact with NBA players. Like, well, the podcast does that. So once again, man, go ahead and follow my Instagram if you have not, at BJizzle. That's BJIZZLLE. The YouTube is the Pull Up Basketball Podcast. We're also on Spotify, the Pull Up Basketball Podcast. My Facebook is BJ Matthews. Like, share, subscribe. Rick, what else you got, bro, to end it off?
Hey, man, and y'all know Rick Masters 23 on Instagram or Mr. Lee. You'll see my face. Like he said, the Pull Up Podcast is on Instagram. It's on Spotify. It's on YouTube. It's on Facebook, guys. We're everywhere. And Rick Masters, y'all can look me up on really any platform. But I throw the assist back to you, BJ.
Well, that's all we got for you guys. So right now, we got Steve Francis once again coming up on Monday. And that will be our next podcast. And we'll be back to you guys next Sunday with more topics, more situations, more conversations. So with that being said, we hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the Pull Up Basketball Podcast. And we respectfully tell you guys to pull up a seat, pull up a chair, pull up.
Pull up.
Peace. Deuce, deuce. Yes, sir.